Well, good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Studios with your weather update here on your January the 20th, 2026. Well, all eyes still remain on this upcoming weekend as we're still tracking potential for an historic and major winter storm here across parts of North Georgia, really all of North Georgia. And before then, we got some decent weather ahead for the next couple of days. Now, before we get into this full update here, if you live anywhere across North Georgia and you'd like to make this part of your regular YouTube feed, please, by all means, hit that subscribe button. And very important, please make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted when we do these weather forecast updates. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look there in Helen, Georgia for this afternoon. Delightful day, a lot of blue skies, a bit on the cool side, but the good news for tomorrow is I expect temperatures to be briefly milder, at least getting closer to normal as we go into your Wednesday forecast. Checking out Lake Chattooga. Look at that gorgeous shot there as we're getting closer to sunset. Beautiful, beautiful day, although a bit cool out there for this afternoon. Local radar, it is quiet. Should remain that way for another day before we see the threat of rain coming in Wednesday night and going into Thursday morning as we go through the forecast period. Satellite picture showing a lot of clear skies. That's going to set up for light winds. We're looking at pretty good radiational cooling for tonight. So a lot of areas will be down into the 20s, maybe a few teens up into the mountains, and definitely a frosty start for you here as you begin your Wednesday forecast. Regional radar shows we got high pressure. Yeah, it's right there up toward our north. It's a cold one right up here, and definitely setting up for some chilly temperatures in the area. We got temperatures in the 40s this afternoon. Normal high around 52, 53, so we're running below normal for right now, but temperatures will be reasonably close to normal by the time we get in toward tomorrow. Now let's go ahead and dive into our model data here. We're going to do, once again, a model comparison between the American GFS model and the European model. There are some distinct differences between the two. We're going to start off first here with the European model, the latest 12Z run here on this, the full run, as we're dealing with those few showers there on your Thursday. But things get interesting as we head toward Friday. Watch that little timestamp there in that right-hand corner there as we get in toward, looks like about 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So again, we'll be seeing this distinct. You got a very sharp dividing line between the freezing rain, which is there in the pink, and then the snow up here in the blue. So watch up there, okay? Now watch as we go forward here in time. As we kind of watch this, we see a lot of that freezing rain over the entire North Georgia area. Most of the heavy snows stays up into the areas in Tennessee, the Carolinas, Virginia, and back over toward Arkansas. So we stay at a prolonged freezing rain for a very long time. And then as we go into your Sunday night, things begin to pull on out, and we clear out, and we look at cold weather after that. So that is your European model. Now let's go ahead and look at how the European breaks down. We're going to first start off with the snow. We'll look at this first. As you snow lovers up there, would probably like to see this over North Georgia. And for right now, it looks like this stays predominantly up toward the north. So it's shifted back to the north a little bit from the morning run this morning, but kind of riding right there on the Georgia-Tennessee line. And look at that heavy snow amounts here. We're talking a path here of a foot of snow that's basically riding right through here. Some very heavy snows up in that area. Now, as far as the sleet is concerned, let's look at the sleet totals here. Again, not that impressive, pretty light to a third of an inch around North Georgia, maybe a half inch into this area, but that's what we're looking at as far as sleet. They're not overly high on the sleet totals there, but where it really still knocks our socks off is looking at the freezing rain trajectory, which is still very high, 2 inches plus here across the area. So again, you're seeing some very high totals right up in here. So 2 inches can do a lot of damage to area trees and knock down a lot of power lines in the area. So this is very concerning. Now, compare that to the American GFS. Let's take a look at the American GFS model. It's a little bit different. All right. This is the one I would hope to be right, but I don't trust this model. I do prefer the European, but we'll go ahead and go through this. Again, we got that weak system still Thursday night, going Wednesday night into Thursday, so we got little showers there. And then you'll notice as this comes at us here, comes in a little bit earlier. It's a little bit sooner. And notice we do have this area here in orange. Now, what is this orange? This is sleet. So we got a little bit more of a transition zone here on this model as compared to the other one. We go from snow to sleet to freezing rain. So there's a little bit of a transition zone there, whereas in the European, it's kind of very abrupt. So watch what happens as we go with this. This is, again, starts with the snow across North Georgia into the Saturday morning, and it snows for a long time. The GFS is longer on this, definitely a more duration event, and does not have a lot of freezing rain across North Georgia, not as much, but a prolonged areas of snow that doesn't clear out until Monday. I mean, it really goes right through the weekend, takes right through Monday, and then this thing squeezes the snow down to the south as a very cold little piece of the polar vortex jumps in here. If we do get snow on the ground, it's going to be some very cold temperatures a couple days next week. But this one, I just have a hard time buying a snow getting into Savannah and down near Jacksonville and the coast. I mean, we did see snows in Florida last week, but wow, to see that again 7 days out remains to be seen. All right, let's go ahead and break down the snow totals and everything here on the GFS. It is further south. You're going to notice this one here. The track is much further south. So look at the snow totals here going into Sunday. We're talking upwards over a foot of snow right across this area. Very much more aggressive here with the snow than what we're seeing on the European. Again, I do favor the European. That's why I'm not posting the snow totals on the GFS, especially since we're still a little bit far out here to be posting snow totals here online. I'm not doing that just yet. But the ice I will do because that's very dangerous stuff here. But look what it does here with the snow. It sinks it on down to the south and then brings the snow, heavy snows down along the Georgia coast with that lingering there right into Tuesday. So again, this one I definitely have a little hard time believing, but I just wanted to share that with you. All right, now let's look at the sleet totals here. Again, kind of going through this period here, and it's a little bit heavier with the sleet, although not quite as bad as it was this morning. This morning it was showing, I'll give you an idea, it was lighting up about 6 inches in this zone. Now it's kind of backed off to about 3, which I kind of understand because to get 6 inches of sleet, boy, you need a lot of moisture to get that kind of coverage there. Now there's still some decent sleet totals back here to the west. No, it's 4 inches up in this area up in there, but generally it is very, very heavy snows that are showing up here on the GFS. And then, of course, the freezing rain. It's there, too, but not nearly as bad. It does favor kind of east central Alabama, west central Georgia with the heavier accumulation of ice in this zone, generally just a little over an inch, so not the 2 inches plus that the European is showing. And you notice a lot of North Georgia not showing it. I mean, it's not showing a lot of freezing rain there. That would be something I would prefer. But again, European is the model of my choice. So let's look at your forecast maps here as we watch this here for the next week. Kind of watch that timestamp there on top. This is from our friends from the National Weather Service here as we go through the next 7 days. High pressure control on Wednesday, not looking too bad there, but as we go into your Thursday, we'll bring in that weak system with the threat of rain. And then as we go into Friday, things get interesting as we watch this bad boy coming down south. It's charging. It's like a big mountain of air kind of moving into that mild air and forcing it up and bringing us that wintry precipitation. And it's going to be affecting a very large part of the country, especially from Texas over to the Carolinas into Saturday. And then Sunday, these two maps here will all be dependent on how the evolution of this system evolves. If it lingers like the GFS, this map will change. And then if we get any kind of snowpack on the ground, Monday's and Tuesday's forecasts will be much colder. All right, so there's your Monday forecast, and Tuesday we clear on out with the high pressure and control. So here's our forecast for Gainesville. Looks like a fairly seasonable day, 50-26, some late day clouds there. Overnight lows tonight, mostly in the 20s, a few teens possible in the mountains, but generally frigid night there overnight. And daytime highs, these are more indicative of where it should be for this time of year. Some upper 40s in the mountains and low 50s for everybody else, low to mid 50s for everybody else. So really not looking too bad there. Regionally, bringing some rains into Memphis and Nashville. Looking decent along the Gulf Coast, 65 in Mobile, 61 in Savannah, and 47 up in Asheville. And the next 7 days, here we go. Best forecast we got right now is we're going to be dealing with that wintry mix coming in on Saturday and Sunday. I suspect we'll have our high early on Saturday, kind of falling off. Still kind of favors that Saturday night period where things get really icy and real bad out there going into Saturday night. Now, that high and low on Monday and Tuesday really are going to be indicative on what kind of precipitation we get. If it's ice, the temperature may not be quite as cold. If we get a snowpack on the ground, brand North Georgia, those highs and lows will be abruptly colder. To give you an idea, Tuesday morning, the GFS was hinting at temperatures getting down to the single digits. And with a snowpack, there was a big part of the south that was showing temperatures below 0. Just unbelievable seeing that. So, again, we're still in getting the fine-tuning of this forecast down. We're in very high expectation of a winter storm. In what form, that still remains to be seen. We're going to work out the details on that. The best thing I can tell you folks out there is please get yourself prepared and ready for this. Do not blow it off, and do not take the approach of I'll believe it when I see it, because if you believe it when you see it, it's going to be too late at that point, as everything will be shutting down. All right. Anyway, that is y'all's update here on YouTube. I do appreciate you guys checking us out, and we just cracked 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Never thought I'd see that, but I guess when you bring in the right weather conditions, it does help the channel. So again, I appreciate you guys joining us here. And again, if you haven't done so, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. And this will be the site, by the way, of where the 24-hour channel eventually will reside. So, all right. Anyway, that's y'all's update. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next update. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.